Welcome everybody, and today what we're going to be doing is learning how to tie dubbing brushes. In a later video I'll show you how to actually use the dubbing brush, but today we're just going to work on building a good dubbing brush. I have here the Cyclone Dubbing Twister. It just has a little platform here. You can take a platform, unscrew these, slide the rest up and down. Today I'm using it up top. It has a spinner here with ball bearings for weight, so it has a little bit of momentum. It has a little hook here. On the outside, you can't really see it in the video, but it has a little connector that comes out. Here, I'll slide this over. It just has this little connector here that you can spin. This is slow mode. This is turbo mode. Spins 3 times, 4 times as fast. It has a little piece over here that the wire hangs on that's free floating, so it rises up and down, adds a little bit of tension as you twist and the wires get smaller. This will actually rise up to accommodate for that smaller wire. I have some dubbing here. This is Leech dubbing from Fly Tires Dungeon in Castle Black. I absolutely love this color for leeches. You can't see it. You'll see it here in a second. But it's black with a little bit of blue, little bit of red. Looks really, really, really good. I've got just a set of wire cutters. You'll need that for the wire. And I have here, these are all spools are the same except for the one on the end. These are simplifies steel dubbing brush wire. And most of these are the small size, which is 0.1 millimeter. And down here on the end, I have the medium size, which is 0.2 millimeters. In order to set this up, what I do is I put the hook here facing up. I take my wire here, and I actually have this little spool keeper thing that goes around. It's just an elastic band with an eyelet through it. It keeps my wire from going kasproing, technical term, but it keeps the wire from falling off the spool. So it makes it a little bit more manageable, and you'll see how I actually use it. So what I want to do is I just want to take my wire and I want to make a little bend in it or a little loop here, and I grab the loop here in my fingers, and the rest of it goes to the spool where I just palm the spool. I take it over, loop it around the hook, and then slowly turn this. And I want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? And you'll see it wraps that wire around wraps the end of the wire around the base of the wire where it goes back into the spool. And then I'll just push it down towards the hook with my fingernails. Okay, give it a little pull, make sure that it doesn't come out, bring it across, and drop it right here on this little knob that's there. And you notice with the hook keeper or the spool keeper, it just sits there and just hangs off. And that's good because that keeps tension on the wire, right? If you have extra tension and say you put this on the table, you'll see that wire gets really, really loose. That's not what we want. So if that happens, you just want to spool this back up a little. Spool it back up so it sits and it just hangs, and that the weight of that spool puts tension on the wire. We don't need a lot. We just need it to keep it straight. Then over here I have a pin, and there's a little keeper for it. It's just a pin. It's just a metal pin, but there's a hole for it right here. And when I push it through that pin, it keeps this rising part, the part that's on a hinge, from coming up. And I'll need that when I actually go to string this all up. Then next step is I need some dubbing. Let me crack into this box here. And you'll see the colors on this? Very, very nice colors. It's got a little bit of purple in there too. Purple, blue, gray, black, red, a bunch of stuff. Now grab a piece of the fluff and you want to pull it. Just give it a couple pulls. What that does is it lines up the fibers. See, the fibers sort of all point this way, back and forth. And then I'm just going to place them over the top of that wire that I put down. And I'll do little chunky chunks, technical term, mind you. Place them down and just keep going until I fill it all the way across the wire. If it gets a little bit unruly, sometimes it does, or if your fibers are a little bit too long, right? In this case, you've got some really long fibers that are here. If you get fibers that are too long, and this is a good example, if you get fibers that are too long, you can do a couple things. One is you can cut them with a pair of scissors, cut them off like this. Another thing you can do is as you pull them, you can kind of grab tightly and sort of pull out the end, and you get the shorter stuff, and it sort of makes the fibers shorter as you work it. And then that makes them shorter. And then the last thing you can do is sort of give it a little bit of a roll from the end so that they come over, they bend over the top a little bit. Okay. And then place that, bend it a little, flip it in there. And now I have fiber all the way across, and I'm going to look and see there are a couple spots where I want to add some more. So see how this is thick right here? That's about the look that I want to have for all of this. I might have to take my fingers like this and place it down or push it down a little bit. I'm just going to add some more fiber, but I'm just going to add spots in places where I think it's starting to look a little bit thin. And once you've done a couple of these dubbing brushes, you'll go, oh, okay, I see, I get it. And this becomes a lot faster than I can actually explain it. Okay? Normally it takes me 45 seconds to fill this up with fiber. Once I have the fiber distributed nicely out across that wire, I want to make sure, A, that my pin is in here so this doesn't rise up. And I'm just going to take my wire. Notice it goes over the top of this little knob here. I pull it out, get a little bit more length. Just place that gently over the fibers. I put the hook here, hook up, or open spot up, and I'll just rest that wire right inside the hook. Whoops, I undid it. Right inside the hook, and then I pull it down this way. Okay, and I keep, it's okay, you don't need a lot of tension there, don't worry about it. And then I will twist this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 twists. Ties it off right here at the eyelet. I'll take my snips, slide them up, and cut them. And you'll see this has already started to twist. And what I want to do is I want to go slow until I see it start twisting over here and maybe get 3 or 4 twists in here. And then I'm ready to go full out. But in order to do that, you'll see right here, it's hard to see on the video, but you'll see these wires, or the strands of wires here. It's the same wire, I get that, but spread out a little bit. So what I do is I hold the twister and just push up the bottom one a little bit with my thumbnail in order to pair those together so that it makes it easier for them to twist. Then I'm going to twist using the slow twist part. You'll see it starts at this end and it slowly starts twisting until it'll twist here on the end. Takes a little bit to get it to go, but it's starting to move. Okay, starting to move down here on the end. Okay, now I got 1, 2, 3, 4 twists on the end. I'm ready to do this. Pull the pin back in the spot where it goes. And now I'll start using the little one over here on the end in order to spin it. Now what I look at is right here, you can see the wires are spread and you can actually start to see the twists happen. One of my indicators that I'm getting close to being done is where I'll see these twists. They become so small that I can't see them. And I'm looking for the wire to start twisting over again as a double twist. So you'll see the single twist, and then you'll see it starts to kink or bend over itself and try to basically twist. The twisted part twists around itself. That's when I know that I'm done with that particular dubbing brush. So I'll put a little bit, tiny bit of pressure down on that hinge part, and then some pressure upwards with my thumb in order to raise it off of the platform that I have here. And now I'm just going to go crazy with it. And I'm just watching this area right here underneath my thumb. Just watch what it does. And you'll see this part here, as the wires twist, they get shorter. This starts to rise up, right? Which is why I put a little bit of pressure on it. And this part over here starts to look really, really small. I can't see the individual twists anymore. I think it is pretty close to being done. And I'm going to call it. I have one more tool that I set over here, and this is the dog brush. I also got this from Fly Tires Dungeon. They don't sponsor me. It's just, this was a $2 wooden handle, and the brush is like what you'd use for a dog to pull out the under fur. Okay, so it's not really a brush as much as it is little angled wires that grab and pull. And that's the part that you want. You want that grab and pull. Now, in order to use this, I'll take a finger, put it underneath that wire, and I will pull at a 45-degree angle. 45 degrees this way, and it pulls that fiber out and makes it really buggy looking. And then a 45-degree the other way, pulling those out. I look for spots like this where it doesn't have a lot of stuff, and I'll pull from next door, pull that out. I've got a big clump over here where it's a little bit thicker, so I can pull that out this way, pull it out this way, and our brush is starting to look good. Another thing that you'll see is right here, you get a lot of extra that show up on the brush. Don't worry about that. I will recycle it. A little bit right here around the height. Okay, and that looks like a pretty good brush. So all that I have to do now, go over here, clip it off right at the knob, and then I don't clip it off here. I just slide it right off that eyelet, and that makes a dubbing brush. Now, the last step that I'll go through here is I will take my dog brush here, and you can just grab it and pull the fibers off, add it back into your pile here. Just recycle the stuff that's extra, not a big deal. And as a final shot, you can see a handful of these dubbing brushes that I've prepared like this. They're ready to be used in the flies. Thank you for watching this video. As always, feel free to like, subscribe, share with your friends, send me comments, and I will see you in the next video.